Welcome to the Semi-Conscious Podcast. I'm Tim Weeks from TKO Marketing Consultants, the specialist marketing services agency for the electronics industry. In this episode, I'm joined by Patrick Hopper, President and Publisher of Open Systems Media, a company founded in 1981 and the publisher of the Embedded Computing Design and Military Embedded Systems media properties. Patrick, welcome to Semi-Conscious.
Tim, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I wonder if we might start with that, sort of maybe a little bit of history. So as I say, the company was founded in 1981. Embedded Computing Design has been going in media terms a very long time. And yet we're in a really quite sort of perilous time for the media generally, really since since sort of the internet age. You continue to survive and thrive. What's your secret?
Well, we've been here a long time. And one of the things that we did a long time ago is we started going to a digital first publication. And that was back in the early 2000s.
You say a long time ago? That was, yeah. When did that happen?
Early 2000s is we started going digital first. We still have a print publication, both on our embedded computing side and our military embedded systems side. But that digital first really enabled us to move quicker from newsletters to webinars to white papers to events to virtual events. And now, really using all the tools that AI has out there to offer us to help kind of satisfy our clients' needs. So we've been here a long time and we've listened to our clients a long time, and we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, and is that something where you've learned from, as you say, you're looking to satisfy your clients, so your advertising clients, the companies that pay for space in print and online. Are you learning as much from them as from the readership, or a bit more from the readership, or because you're getting a lot of analytics that allows you to see sort of where your audience is moving from and going to?
So clearly, one of our target audiences is the younger engineer, and we realize that we have to meet engineers, whatever age group and demographic they are, where they're living. So whether it's a podcast, whether it's a YouTube video, Google search, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all these different platforms, you have to be omnipresent out there. And one of the things that Tim, you and I've talked about is where have some of the other publishers failed? And, one of the things that I think about is that they're too one-dimensional, and they never made an investment years ago in different platforms. So anyways, there's a lot of things that the infrastructure needs to be built before you can go through some of these other platforms, from webinars and having your leads sync and nurture and all of these other type things. But I have several publications that I'm very friendly with that have a print magazine and a website, or they do just a website and no lead generation. And, you need to be able to have all of those different sources to satisfy your clients.
Yeah. Yeah. And do the demographic data on your readers paint a very clear picture of a divide between the older and the younger in terms of the types of media that they're consuming?
We really don't care about that because we have several platforms like YouTube where our videos are very popular, and they're generating a lot of views and a lot of excitement for our clients. In different spaces, as an example, like the military space, print magazines are very, very popular because most of your emails are blocked from even getting into an engineer at a military space. And plus, they're back to work full time in the office. So not too many other industries have engineers that are back at the office full time able to read magazines. Mm-hmm. So again, we just want to meet that engineer wherever they want to have it. And it could be an engineer in Taiwan or China or the UK or the United States or South America or Canada. And we just want to be able to be the source for really helping that engineer do their job better wherever they are globally.
Yeah, Yeah, and is there anything that's lost in that transition? I mean, you, for instance, have on your team very distinguished journalist Rich Nass, who has a long and storied history in electronics journalism. So he will sort of remember times where long form journalism and the space and time that you had in print journalism was something that he would, I'm sure, relish.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that's sort of been lost in today's media, do you think?
I think there's more along the lines of blog submissions and articles where the goal is to, we use a problem and solution methodology. So we state a problem, state a solution, and then if there's a link at the end for more information on how to view a demo or more details on a product or an offering, we'll certainly include it at the base of that. So, and people's attention is also a lot shorter. To sit down and read a 2,000 word article takes a long time. So, I think the blogging kind of helps engineers with shorter attention spans that we're able to see something a little bit quicker, get them to click on the site, get them more information to help them do their job better. So, I really think the blog and the shortness of attention works together for the benefit of today's engineer.
Sure, sure. So we've talked there about sort of how you've adapted your offering to meet the needs of a changing audience. To what extent have your customers, so advertisers and those who use your lead generation services and so on, how easily has it been for them, do you think, to adapt to this change in the landscape? I mean, were you, if you like, following them and adapting to meet what they were asking for? Or was it a case of you having to sell the offer to your customers and persuade them of how your new offerings actually could be effective and valuable for them?
Question. So a lot of it comes from the client side in many
Yeah.
instances because they're getting demands from upper management to create. It could be anything from a regional event that they want to put on to lead generation to product marketing managers needing leads. So the demand for more and more lead generation is there on the client side. From our standpoint, now it's up to us to create innovative ideas on how to get leads to clients to fulfill what they're really looking for. So they come to us saying, we need leads, we need specific leads. And then our goal is to try to use all of our platforms, including social platforms and third-party networks, to really get as many leads in that fill that criteria as we can. So these are all demands and requests from upper management to try to get more exposure, more awareness of what's going on. And then they reach out to us, and then we work together to come up with a program that fits their needs.
Are you seeing more demand for in-depth analytics and reporting of results from clients? And are you able to provide what they want, or is there still sort of some unmet demand there for more granular detail about the results of campaigns that you're able to run on behalf of clients in lead generation or whatever?
Well, we spend a lot of money on software to help navigate these lead sources and where they're coming from. The other thing is lead nurturing. That not only do you have to get the lead sometimes, is then you want to nurture them by delivering more and more content to them, and then give a client a set of leads that have really downloaded 2 or 3 things versus one type thing. So those are really interesting things that we do and work with clients on. But it's a process. And the other thing is that although the client wants a lot of analytics, at the end of the day, they want to grab a bunch of leads, upload it into their CRM, send it messages to all their FAEs and sales people globally. And then at the end of the year, they want to hit a button in Salesforce and figure out which platform delivered the most leads. And it's great having pie charts and how much time they spend on the site and all this other stuff, which is what we provide. But at the end of the day, the thing that matters most is how many people from this webinar or this event that you hosted or this white paper campaign generated enough, how much revenue did they generate at the end of the year?
Mm.
And so that's really the key element. And that's a level game changer for everybody, across all publications.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we've been talking a lot here about the nuts and bolts, the nitty gritty of publishing and advertising and servicing the needs of your advertiser clients. We should say something about journalism because that is the business that you're in. Um, so, uh,
Absolutely.
so how has it? How has the business changed from your point of view? The requirement to recruit and retain and motivate great journalists who do great reporting that the audience keeps coming back again and again to read.
Yeah, so really our main client, and we've been talking a lot about our advertiser base, but our main
Yeah,
client are our readers, and we have hundreds of
yeah,
thousands of them that
yeah,
are coming in and reading. And our goal is to have 5 pieces of content out every day.
yeah,
And it's not a press release. We have to rewrite press releases. We have to look at blogs that we're getting from all over the world and make sure they fit into our editorial guidelines. So our office is based in just outside of Scottsdale. So there's the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism down there. So we're recruiting journalists, and we have a great batch of younger journalists that have come to work for us. And it's great seeing fresh faces and new ideas to help us also cater to those younger engineers. So Rich Nass, as you said, has been an industry icon for many years here, and we want to cater to all sides, and we talked about earlier meeting those engineers wherever they are, and then guiding that journalistic content towards those engineers and how they like it.
yeah. And you say meeting the readers wherever they are. How easy is that to do from Scottsdale, Arizona, given that maybe 20, 30 years ago, the embedded computing industry was really very strongly North America based. It's now, I think, extremely global. How much of a challenge is that to really truly report on and cover fully the trends of an industry that is operating all across the globe?
Well, it's 100,000, 200,000 frequent flyer points every year.
Yeah,
We were in Taiwan twice last year. We're going to
yeah,
be in Europe for Embedded World and Electronica this year. So that's 2 trips to Europe. And then
yeah,
there's events like CES and NVIDIA GTC and some other smaller regional shows that we go to as well. So, we meet our clients where they are. We meet the engineers where they are. They all have press releases. They all need to get content out. They all want to talk to editors. And we're happy to do that.
yeah, yeah. And thinking back over your 20 something, maybe more than that, years in publishing in the embedded industry, where are you in terms of, on the spectrum of optimism or pessimism for the state of our industry and the sort of level of excitement that you, your clients, your readers can feel in the embedded industry today?
The way I look at it is I'm excited that COVID is done, events are back, um, and the difference in how advertisers, many of them now, years ago, they used to plan all their budgets out in November, December for the entire year. And now you're really seeing a big portion of people still do that, but a lot of people do it around events, around product launches. And so you have opportunities, publishers have opportunities every time a product comes out to be able to show what they can do to help promote it, get it out there. We certainly offer a lot of free opportunities, from press releases and blogs are always free on our site. And we like to supplement them with additional paid campaigns. So we have things coming out every week for a product launch, or every month for a period of time. So there's really no downtime for a specific client.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I'm generally, as long as there's vendors in our space and they're innovating and coming up with new products, I'm very much bullish on our market. So,
Sure.
and we'll be there hopefully for the next 27 years to be able to manage and whatever that's going to look like at that time.
Yes,
So,
indeed. Absolutely. And let's talk about that that sort of multi-channel offering that you make to your clients, specifically in reference to support for exhibitions. So as we're speaking in advance of the Embedded World 2024 exhibition, which will take place in Nuremberg, Germany in April this year. But so, what's your advice to exhibitors who have paid for space at that exhibition, or indeed any other major electronics exhibition that might be taking place? What's your advice to them about how they can maximize their return on their investment in the booth space that they've paid
mhm.
for?
So one thing is all these shows are expensive. We all realize that you pay a lot of money to get there. And the challenge is in many of these shows is obscurity. You have major companies spending a lot of money driving those eyeballs right when they get into the door to many of those exhibitors. So our goal is to help those exhibitors that are in the hall next to it or 3 halls away and delivering content weeks in months before the show starts. So that German engineer, if we're talking about Embedded World or Electronica or SPS or wherever, we want to get that content in front of those engineers as early as we can. So we actually, all news and blogs, as I mentioned earlier, are always free of charge, and we recommend people to start submitting them as early as they can. Number two, we work with Nuremberg Messe and the folks at Embedded World on a blog series called The Road to Embedded World, where exhibitors can talk about their booth, what their booth number is. If there's a video demo, we can include it in there, what they're going to be highlighting, what are the key topics. And we kind of lump those together with a promotional element around that. Then as we lead up to the show, I recommend having some type of product launch. If you're not launching something, you need to be out there with product telling people what you're going to be doing. And to fill that niche, we have our Best in Show Awards. So usually about 100 companies participate. So about 10% of every exhibitor is submitting a product for the Best in Show. And then we have a big kickoff party on the Monday before the show starts that I know your team has been there before. And we celebrate the teams that won. We take pictures and post them on social. So there's a lot of buzz around that product that's happening right before the show starts. And then when the show is actually going on, you need something to drive awareness to your booth. And we do some really cool things. You can't see it in my background right now, but is we give away 800 to 1,000 T-shirts with sponsored with our sponsors, and they have to answer a survey to get the T-shirt. We do a scavenger hunt that they go around the show to win a Raspberry Pi board at the end. And last year we had 900 people participating in that, giving away 900 Raspberry Pi boards. And that's a great way to grab an engineer, take them to somebody's booth, and force that conversation with an FAE or whomever you might have. So then we do a whole bunch of email and social campaigns. All of this is built on creating awareness about what you're doing at the show, and then driving that traffic to your booth.
Yes, so essentially what you're saying is, so you've got an offering that allows exhibitors before and during the show to take actions to attract visitors to their booths, but you're saying don't just passively wait for visitors to show up and expect that just by virtue of exhibiting at the show that something's going to happen for you. You've actually got to work harder than
Yes.
that, and actually
Yeah.
make the traffic,
And
make the
you,
footfall come to your booth rather than just wait for it to come.
yeah. And there's a huge misconception that like I'm going to have my name in the exhibitor directory. and the traffic. I have a 10 by 10 booth in Hall 3A, and you're expecting a bunch of people to show up there looking at your offering. And the reality is you got to work really hard to do
Yeah.
it, and you have to get your PR and marketing team. You need to have those press releases out. You need to be setting up editor meetings.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So embedded world is a big deal for embedded computing design,
Yes.
as it is indeed for my company, for TCO as well.
Mhm.
So we're looking forward to seeing you there, Patrick, and I'd urge any of our listeners who are visiting Embedded World to make sure you go along and see the Embedded Computing Design, the Open Systems Media booth. Have a chat with Patrick yourself and find out more about how the magazine can help you. This has been terrific. Thank you, Patrick, so much for taking the time to talk to us and for being on Semi-Conscious. Our listeners will have learned a lot about what the past, present, and future of electronics media holds. Really
Tim, thanks
appreciate
so much for
really
including me.
appreciate it. Okay, great. Thank you very
Cheers.
much.